Okay, I would like to make a quick video to kind of give you an overview of what OCR is and where we stand currently, right? Our main goal is to be able to scan Rogue Valley travelers information and extract all the necessary information into either SharePoint list or Excel spreadsheet. Are we there yet? No. But can we get there? Maybe, perhaps after minimum of undivided attention for several weeks to several months. There are a lot to learn about to make it uh, get it done, especially to do it right. This is our Rogue Valley Travelers, okay, and it's a lot of information. The Rogue Valley Travelers, some of them are like 4 pages long. Some of them are, as you can see, 18 pages long. And in each page, there are so much to grab. In order for me to grab this, you gotta predefine these fields. You gotta define this field. You gotta grab that. You gotta grab that. You gotta grab that, and each and every field that you want to extract. Okay, but the problem here is that you define the field here. Okay, normally it should be here, and then if any words go past that area, it's not going to be able to grab it. And as well, if somebody scratches it and put it on top, it's not going to grab it correctly. If you grab like this, and I don't know what that is, they scratched it, or I'm assuming it scratched it and they replaced with 2. It's AI is not that small enough to distinguish what it is. And also, if somebody puts something outside the area, you have to predefine this field and say, hey, grab that information from there. Okay? So if you do grab it, and if the next person writes something notes over here, it's not going to grab it because it's not a predefined field. Okay? And same thing with this one. And just gonna give you some complications. So I defined this area to grab, extract this information. They scratched it and they put 12 on top of it. It's not gonna grab that. It's gonna read 14. Okay, and sometimes, some cases, it's not gonna even read it because it's crossed it out. You have this information here. I can predefine this field. However, if somebody puts that information next time on different field, it's not gonna grab it. Same thing here. I could predefine each and every field here. There's 25 of them. So to grab that, I gotta do 50 of them, right? But if you scroll down to the next page, now you have these things. I predefined these fields, but suddenly they scratch it out, they put it on top. It's not gonna do the job. Okay, so there is so much complication. Okay, so going back to this one, I have 3 different examples. So this form OCR is the one that I was showing to you. I was going in and predefined these fields. Okay, let me show you um, in here something like this. I went into, this is this invoice, similar stuff. I went in there and defined the area where it says PO number with the due date, order number, invoice date, and such and such. So I defined them. And as soon as I upload the file, I have the AI go in there and find the information and populate them into the SharePoint. This is what I did. So, for example, um, for the test purposes, I'm going to delete this file. Okay, did I delete it? I don't think I deleted it correctly. Delete here, right? Okay, now I'm gonna upload the file. So 2268. Alright, so where is that 2268? In the top. 2268. So right here, I don't have this information right. What AI is doing right now, it's going through Microsoft Power Automate and it's reading the fields, and then now it's slowly populating those information to here. So I'm gonna just refresh. Just remember the ID is 143. So I'm gonna refresh, reload. So it's in the different order now. So 143. Just give a second. In the beginning, it didn't populate everything right away. So I thought that there was an issue with my setup, but actually it wasn't. It just took anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute or two to have all this information populated. But you don't have to worry about it because you just go ahead and upload the invoice file. You come back later on, then it will be populated. Okay, so I'm gonna just do reload again, and still, so we'll wait and see. So while I'm explaining things, it will actually eventually populate it. So um, it could be depending on your connection. But it's my experience from my location. It didn't populate right away, but it's doing its work, and it will populate it. Just remember, its ID is 143, so when we come back, you will have everything. So we'll come back to that. So um, the other one that I set it up was this is row value troubler information, and I had to go ahead and define, like I told you, anywhere from 4 pages to 18 pages long, right? The travelers. So for the first page, I defined about, I don't know, here it only shows CC or 36, right? I defined only 36 fields in the first page, and I didn't grab everything. So imagine if you, let's say, anywhere from 40 to 50 fields that you have to predefine in each page, time multiplied by 18, and plus all the exceptions and scratches and stuff like that, chances are you're not going to get everything correctly. But this is very, very manual because you have to go and predefine it. It works pretty okay, pretty good with um, something like this invoice thingy. Oh, now it's ID 143, right? It populated all that information. Basically, what it did, it went into the uh, um, this is different one. Uh, but let's say this is the same PO. It went in there and it grabbed. Because I predefined the order number here. I predefined the account number here. I predefined the PO number here, and predefine the first item catalog number and item description, and the quantity and such, and price, right? So it will do the thing. But the problem with this one is if you have, it's not in the tabular form, even though it's within the some format. Um, you have the word with the indentation here and here, so it's not, AI doesn't, from my experience, it doesn't grab everything correctly if you have multiple items. If all the items starts in the exact same location, and such, it works a lot better. But this one, you have indentation here, and then so the fourth item will be here. One, two, three, four. Fifth item will be here, and such, right? So it didn't generate the values correctly, right? But that's what it did, right? So it grabs it. So I have to define, because every vendor's invoice looks different, right? So I have to make like a one for the Fisher side, and you have to make one for Thermo Fisher, one for, like, I don't know, Amazon and such, right? So that you can compile it. But at least if you upload the file, you don't have to open it and try to search for it, because it will grab the vendor name, it will grab the PO number, it will grab the order number, account number, invoice date, and due date, and total amount. And if you scroll right, you have all other fields that I predefined. But here in item category number, some are grabbed correctly, and this is the reason. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Some grabs the totally different value, even though I predefined it, because of how the invoice is formed. If it's very neat in, like, each column, each row, not like this, then it will do a much better job. But right now, the category in the first item's category number field, it grabs a date here, and such and such, right? So it's not doing the, it's not 100% correct. So if you're looking for, like, really detailed information, you got to be um, very careful. But one thing that I know is that the total amount and stuff up to here will be 100% accurate because it's typed and it's always the same location. It's just the first item, second item, third item, fifth item, all those item details is not in the same location. That is why we are having issue. Anyway, so that's the how I defined it, and same with the Rogue Valley Travelers. Okay, so that's the form OCR. I didn't make it connected. I didn't connected it because it's totally different ones, and I moved away from that one. All right, so second one that I worked on is the Picture OCR. Okay, so I click on the Picture OCR. So my camera. So if you're using this through the phone, your camera, you have the ability to kind of choose your camera here. But let's say I have something, this one. Okay, you put it close and click on the screen. Okay, it takes a picture, and then you do process image. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna grab, and I am not predefining the fields. It's gonna grab everything. So we'll say, hey, express right here, 50% off, one dress or men's dress shirt, right? May 17 to June 16, right? So it's a small thing right here, right? See reverse side for details. So you know what? So it grabs it, right? The only challenge with this one is I don't have the ability to grab it in a format, right? It just extracts everything and just throw it in here. But it's better than nothing, right? It does the job. So I'm gonna go back. The reverse side has a lot more information, so I want to see if it does the good job, right? So okay, now it's tiny little and a little blurry, so I'm not so sure how well it will do because it's really tiny fonts. Okay, um, but it did grab everything. Valid. Uh, okay, let me see. Okay, it's so small. It's actually valid, but it grabbed valid. Okay, so I guess it's not perfect, but if you come back here, I'm gonna show you how small the letter is, right? It's that small, so which is understandable. So I'm gonna try something like UPS thingy, this one. So I will grab it, take a picture, okay, by clicking. Now process image. Mm, it will do the thing again, but the challenge is it doesn't give me the ability to or option to populate them in the correct position, right? But it will grab everything. It will grab UPS here, and then SLIC here, and the number, and the next one it does return service one, blah blah blah, and then C reverse side and stuff like that. So it grabs every single thing. So it's better than nothing, right? But if you do scan something like that, this is a little bigger than the before one. So, okay. I hope I did a great job holding it. If I did a great job, it will grab everything. This is still small, but it does everything. So as you see here, that 1/06 is the last one here, and I guess the UPS is the first one on top, and it says unless a greater value is recorded in the writing on this receipt, the shipper agrees that blah blah blah. So actually, it's very clear, right? So it did a great job. The last one I want to try is this one. Okay. All right. So I wrote something there, very sloppy. My handwriting is actually sloppy, but um, yeah. But I intentionally wrote it a little more sloppier, believe it or not, so that I want to see whether it does it. It says, I am working very hard even without daily meetings, right? So that's cool, right? So it grabs my handwritings and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that this is the second thing that I worked on after I filled this form OCR was so manual, so labor intense job, right? And then the third one I just throw in there was you go ahead and upload something. I'm gonna go ahead and upload something like a small picture. It's a picture. You can upload other stuff too. But as soon as you upload something, it automatically grabs everything. Unlike the form OCR that I show you, I had to go ahead and define each and every field that what I wanted to grab. But this one, it did it automatically. But only the problem is, only challenge is, it will only populate the data when I click on it. Well, it's better than nothing, right? If you have like 30 words in one sentence and it grabs for me, then I click it and I store to the data. Then it's actually better than nothing. However, I want I want to have the exact format and have it populated in there, right? So it's really difficult to do that, but I guess there's a way to do it. But it is very difficult. It requires minimum a few weeks to several months of training and learning to get it there. So what it does is it learns the layout. It just don't learn about the text. It learns the layout, and then it try to replicate that layout and have everything populated in that format. Okay, so it's really awesome feature. But again, I am fairly new to this Power M, Power Automate, and Microsoft Azure service, cognitive service. But you gotta have in-depth learning and training to make that happen. So this is where we stand. As I showed you, we can manually define the fields, upload the file, and have them populated here. Same with this one. You defined it. You have those fields populated, but it didn't work correctly. It only worked because there's so much exception in the Rogue Valley Travelers, as I mentioned before, right? Some of them are marked inside the table, some of them are marked outside the tables, right? Some of them are written outside the area. Some are very sloppy. What is that, right? What is that? But it does something, but it's not in that uh, great shape. And you have to define, I don't know, anywhere from several hundred to more than thousands of field to extract that, so it's very different. And if the format changes, you gotta redo everything, right? That is why that we have to go through the direction of learning the layout and extracting the values. But it is not a simple thing to do, even if you may think this is, I don't know, very simple thing to do. You know, Picture OCR and grabbing all the information. Um, but I spent anywhere between, you know, 12 hours to 17 hours a day to figure this out, because this simple thing that you may think it's a simple thing, but you have to set up the Power Automate and all those logic, and you have to define all the variables and paths and stuff like that. So maybe I'm not that smart enough, but this is where we stand. I am able to use a Picture OCR to extract the text or handwritten stuff, but not in a good format, but it will just go ahead and extract it. And then I can also upload any file, but the file size has to be very small. I don't think it generates an or arrow if it's greater than a couple megabytes. So you may want to kind of compress the PDF file or image file and have it upload and read it. But you have to select each and every field, right? Just I show you again. So it's not going to be able to, it's not going to extract everything at once. You have to define it. You have to click it. It defines for you, but you have to click it to populate it here. So that's a challenge, right? So that's where we stand now. We have to move into layout learning. But again, just to do this, I gave my entire weekend dedicated. I'm talking about anywhere from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., because I was so frustrated and I couldn't figure something out. But during that process, I learned a lot. Um, but there's so much to learn about it. I wish really I can get it done, but just want to let everybody know we have to have a realistic a timeline and expectation. But at least we can utilize what we have here for some stuff. Like if you really um, need to extract something, and then just copy and you do the formatting, then this will work pretty good. Okay, so that is it for today, and I am moving toward the learning the layout, but and I hope I can make that happen. Okay, all right, thank you.